Welcome back to my motorcycle ride on a Royal Enfield Classic 500 as I leave the Great North Road at Eaton Socon to head for the bridge over the River Great Ouse at St Neots. Already there's something interesting to see. The cluster of buildings behind the wall on the left in the trees coming up is the old St Neots Workhouse, built in 1841. You can just see it there on the left. Workhouses were not officially abolished until 1948, and on a map published in 1952 this one was described as a public authority institution, probably a residential home for children, the infirm and the elderly. There it is from a Victorian photograph of the building. The building was later used as a veterinary centre for horses. It's now known as the White House and has been converted into flats. So, back to the road. This was a connecting road, I guess at one time maintained by the Biggleswade to Alconbury Turnpike of 1725, a connecting road to St Neots off the Great North Road, but also to another historic cross-country route which I'll come to later. This road is now the B1428. And here we have some roadworks coming up, but it's a chance to see the white timber-framed building on the right, which was once a farmhouse called Avenue Farm, named after a time when there was an avenue of chestnut trees here, and this farmhouse was linked with Ford House next door for many centuries. There it is on the right. In 1800 both properties were owned by George Gorham, who founded the St Neots Bank. In the 1840s the properties were sold and the farmhouse became separate. There's Ford House on the right here, built way back originally in the 1400s. There's a roundabout, not this next one, but one after this, coming up, which marks the meeting with the historic cross-country route I mentioned earlier. And that route used to be the A45, which in its heyday ran from the centre of Birmingham all the way to Felixstowe and was a vitally important route from the Midlands to the East Anglian coast for exports. That's the old A45 coming out from the left where that van's just emerged. And coming up is the bridge over the Great Ouse, across which the traffic on the old A45 once poured. The old stone bridge here was demolished in 1963 to be replaced by this concrete structure. The old stone bridge was built originally in 1617 and eventually proved inadequate, not surprisingly, for the weight of modern motor traffic, even when passage over it was restricted to one-way operation with a 5 mile/h speed limit. And coming up on the left is a view of the old Bridge Hotel, still in existence at the end of the bridge. The site of Bridge House, which became the hotel, dates back to at least the 16th century. There's a photograph of it from the late 50s, and there's a photograph of the bridge looking back from the Bridge Hotel, taken again in the late 1950s, showing the dilapidated state that it had got into by then. So, into the wide open space of St Neots Market Square, and the brick building on the left there was the old Cross Keys Inn, an old coaching inn, closed in 1989 to be converted into shops and offices. That coaching inn is seen there on an old photograph on the right, with a view of Bridge Hotel ahead of the old bridge. The Cross Keys served travellers to Cambridge on this, the St Neots to Cambridge Turnpike of 1772, later redesignated as part of the long A45. little musical accompaniment here whilst we wait. And there's a pub name again on the right, which speaks for itself. The old Coach House. It was the New Inn until it changed its name in 2011, but there were good intentions behind the name change, which aimed to emphasise its history as a coaching inn. A photograph does not come any better than the one coming up to describe the transition period of the road. That is the period between the decline of road transport following the steam railway explosion of the 19th century and the return of traffic to the roads, firstly in the form of cyclists, who in turn blazed the trail for motor transport. This photograph of the New Inn, now the Coach House, shows the classic entrance to the stabling yard behind the inn. Hanging over the yard entrance, however, is a sign which reads New Inn, High Class Hotel, Motor Garage and Pit. The words speak for themselves. The former coaching inn now had motoring customers very much in its sights, and just to emphasise this, to the left of the arch hangs an AA sign. The AA began to inspect hotels in 1912, so I guess this photograph was taken between then and say 1925. Hanging to the right of the building is the winged wheel symbol of the Cyclists Touring Club, just to emphasise the role cycling played in the revival of road transport. There's the Coach House, the former New Inn, with its stabling yard entrance bang in the middle of it. Now there is a fascinating building up ahead, Bellingham House, named after the man born in it, one John Bellingham. Only one Prime Minister has ever been assassinated in Britain. Here was born the man who carried out the deed. I'm now approaching the former eastern edge of St Neots, which will pass through immediate pre- and post-war housing developments of the 1930s, 40s, 50s and 60s. So I'll have to get a move on through these. I say former edge because a new suburb is being added to the eastern side called Wintringham, and it is in this suburb that I hope to find a relic of the Turnpike era. A stop to check the map. Our researchers tell me that it should be just at the other side of the railway bridge. This is the new housing development called Wintringham. And on the left, coming up, is that relic of the Turnpike era. A milestone from the Turnpike times. I'll pull over to take a look. It was erected by the St Neots to Cambridge Turnpike Trust in the 19th century. It's hard to see in the sunlight, but the inscription reads Cambridge 17 miles, St Neots 1 mile. How wonderful to see this old survivor from the stagecoach days. Back to the bike now to seek out another relic of the old coaching days. Again, I'll get a move on. I'm now joining the current main road to Cambridge, which to this point has bypassed St Neots. It's an incredibly busy road, which itself at this point is going to be bypassed in turn by another road leading from the Black Cat roundabout on the A1 to Caxton Gibbet, which will be further down the road that I'm now travelling. As I mentioned earlier, this used to be the A45 Midlands to Felixstowe road. It's now the A428 between here and Cambridge. I know that the old relic of the Turnpike era is not far ahead. And there it is on the left coming up, but it's too late for me to pull up safely. I'll have to do a U-turn. And this is handily placed to enable me to do so. And there you have it, an old toll house on the St Neots to Cambridge Turnpike. Currently a domestic property, but with only minor changes in its 200 years or so existence. A gate would have stretched across the road at this point, and the toll house keeper who lived in the house would only let you through if you paid the appropriate toll, which was dependent upon the way you might be travelling, be it by horse or by coach, or by wagon, or with a herd of sheep, etc., etc. The toll house was built by the St Neots to Cambridge Turnpike Trust in the 19th century, which used the funds collected here and elsewhere to maintain this road. The trusts were all disbanded by the end of the 1880s, and the task of maintenance was picked up instead by the local councils and ratepayers. Back to this historic road to seek out another relic of the Turnpike era. Again, I'll press on. Should be here at the Croxton Crossroads. I'll pull off this busy road to look for it. I looked around for it only to find it was right there under my nose. here it is. Small, rusty, and seemingly insignificant. Another turnpike milestone, or rather not a stone. It's made from cast iron, which I think makes it a mile post. Again, erected here in the 19th century by the St Neots to Cambridge Turnpike Trust. Small and rusty it may be, but it's what's on it that makes it so fascinating, to me anyway. As you might expect, the miles to St Neots and Cambridge are shown, but on top is the distance in miles to Oxford. Why? Because it bears testimony to the importance of the road to traffic between the two university towns in the coaching era and later. In the turnpike era, this road was considered to be on the route between Oxford and Cambridge, or should I say on one of the routes. There are other historical roads between Oxford and Cambridge to be ridden, and be sure in time I will do just that. But for now, I'm done.